loves the way that I tease.
너무 좋은데요? 생각보다 더 좋은데요? 아, 8년으로 조성주를 감당이 안 되는 거 같아요. 한 10년을 남고 와요! 바로 뛰어버립니다. 김대엽, 연속 4강이네요.
Welcome everybody to Star League here on Thursday at the Next Sun Arena. We are going to the last round of 4 matchup here. It's going to be Stats versus Classic coming at you. A best of 7. It's going to be a great night once again, Minglade.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I've been looking forward to this PvP. 2 of the best Protosses we have in career and the world, Stats and Classic. Go head-to-head in this best of 7 to see who's going to be up against Dream in that Grand Finals.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And what a Grand Finals is going to be. That TVP, I can't wait.
Yeah, man. TVP, a much better match than PvP. We were kind of happy that Dream made it through.
Very
and there's
happy.
another one of those little things here.
Yeah.
If Classic makes it through, it's going to be an SKT team kill in the finals. So
yeah.
I know from a caster's perspective, from a viewer's perspective, you want to get the most hype going into the tournament. So a lot of people are cheering for Stats. They want them to win, so we get that telecom derby there in the finals.
Yeah, it's just going to make for such a better storyline if we can get that that SKT versus KT Grand Finals. Like, everything would just work out perfectly. So hopefully we get to see it. I mean, there's a little bit of bias going into this, but, you know, team finals, just not as hype around them.
Yeah, it's not as hype.
It's too comfortable for the players because they're teammates.
Yeah.
So we want to really see that Stats versus Dream.
Yeah, of course.
That's a dream right there.
You can remember Sue versus Classic going head-to-head in the GSL finals. Sue getting another second place there, Classic winning the GSL that one time. Could have been a little bit better if it was, you know, a bit mixed up. I know a lot of people are saying that Classic a bit favored coming into this one as well.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, judging by, like, recent stats, like, it seems like Stats himself has actually been doing a bit better. But, you know, it is PvP. It is a bit of a different bowl game this time around. Yeah. We'll get into the nitpicks in just a second.
Yeah, we're going to jump into an interview now with our 2 players. Let's see what they have to say. They're here to decide the last finalist for the SBENU Star League. Classic, we heard that you received a present before coming here. Saying Kanata gave you a present. They're asking what the present was. So he didn't give his curse to Classic. There's a Kanata curse in the likes of the Artosis curse, very similar. So Classic says he's here today once again to become a finalist. He's very confident coming into this set.
That's interesting to hear.
Saying overcame the curse of his love for Hyungung in Star League. And he made it all the way here. Hyungung told him to not be nervous today in this PvP. He gained a lot of power and strength from the words that Hyungung gave to him.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that is very sweet.
Let's see if it makes a difference today.
Your teammate Dream is a finalist right now. What do you think about this? Classic actually expected Hero to advance, but Dream played a lot better than expected. And it's going to be a very fun match if he gets to play against Dream in the finals here. He was dominant in the semifinals. Of course, that 4-0. And if he advances to the finals, it's going to be a team kill. It's going to be hard to practice because we use the same team house. But I'm not thinking about the finals just yet. I'm only thinking about my opponent right ahead of me. It's Stats. Thinking only about the semifinals for now. What do you think about your opponent's stats? I heard that Stats has been a pro gamer for 8 years, but he hasn't been a finalist yet. So he doesn't think that he has a chance today.
Interesting. It's a very light smack talk here.
It's a bit of sprinkle. He's saying that you have to have a little special something as a pro gamer to make it into the finals for an individual league. Because it's a PvP, it's going to depend on the builds, but he expects a 4-2 win today. Classic himself. And he comments to Stats, well, you've been a pro gamer for 8 years, but never was a finalist, so you're used to waiting and not making it through. So he thinks that this is not your season. He says to Stats, this is not your season to make it through, so you should wait a little bit longer. And Classic says he's going to win this season, so maybe he can try next season.
Damn. Classic dropping bombs, man.
Yeah, man. Just some light bombs.
Just some light bombs.
No
man.
nukes just yet.
No. Here we go. Here's Stats. What has he got to say? So last season, he lost to Maru in the semifinals. How did you feel when you knocked out in the semifinals? It was my first time advancing to a semifinals, so I was very nervous going into that match. I didn't prepare very well for Maru. But this is my second time, it's my second chance. I'm going to come into it in a different form today. You played a lot of Protoss players this season already to advance this far, defeating the likes of Hero and Deer, that's right.
And of course Zest.
Of course. So you should be very confident against Protoss. I was able to prepare a lot for the Protoss players, and I eliminated a lot of them this season. But the one worry I have, that I used a lot of strategies in my PvPs, and Classic had a lot of material to watch. So I'm sure he's prepared very well for today. You have a lot of experience in multiple matches. You've been a pro gamer for 8 years. Classic said you need something special to become a finalist. If I didn't have that special something, I wouldn't be here right now. I was consistent enough to be a pro gamer for 8 years, and I'm performing very well recently. So I think I'm going to defeat Classic today and reach those grand finals for the first time. So if you win today, you're going to play another SKT1 player. It's going to be a bit of a telecom derby. Did your teammates or coach mention anything about that? Yeah, we're thinking about the telecom derby and our rivalry against SKT. And I also feel the pressure myself to represent my team and become a finalist and defeat another SKT player in the finals. Any final comments to your opponent, Classic? Classic was a champion one time last year, and it's his first time since then to become a semifinalist. So I think his road ends here today. I feel sorry for him, but I'm about to become a finalist.
That's what we like to hear. Very similar words, actually, that we heard from the Hero and Dream interviews, if you remember. Hero was saying, oh, I'm sorry, Dream. I'm going to make it through. And then he got bopped. Oh,
he got bopped, man. He's never been so destroyed by someone. So let's see what's going to happen today, man. Some pretty Yeah, it's interesting to hear what both of them said. I think Stats had a much more impressive road in terms of PvP getting here.
Yeah, for sure.
He's proven that he is beating the best already with, Zest, Hero, Deer. Like, this is insane, man.
Yeah, it really is. Now taking a look at some of the viewpoints from each of the players. Classic here challenging to become a finalist for the first time since winning the 2014 GSL Season 2. And second consecutive team kill finals for him if he wins today. Will the 2 finalists come out from Group B, which was the bubble group? Both finalists will be from SKT if he wins today. Again, more experience in multiple set matches than Stat. And Kanata's curse has no effect on him.
Well, that last one's very important. Here's Stats. All right, we got second consecutive semifinals in Star League. Will become a finalist for the first time if he wins today. Won 2-1 versus Classic in the SSL Season 1 round of 16. And 100% win rate versus Protoss in Star League. One against Classic, Hero, Deer, Zest in Season 2.
Classic and Hero in Season 1, and then again against Hero, actually.
Yeah, man.
And then, of course, Deer and Zest in Season 2.
That is big. That is really big. I think Stats coming into this looking very strong in the matchup.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. Classic, also a very strong PvP player. He defeated Creator, who's, only good in PvP these days. Who's actually very strong in that matchup. 3-1 quite recently. So him going up against Stats, it's going to be a great PvP matchup, but I would give the slight edge here to Stats.
Yeah, I'm favoring Stats for this one as well. I think he should be able to close it out with a 4-1 or a 4-2, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was thinking 4-2.
Yeah.
We're along the same lines here, Moonblade.
We're on the same wavelength right now, Valdez. I'm liking it. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
So look at that Season 2 win rate for Stats, 100%. That's pretty insane in this matchup. I believe that's what it is anyway.
Yeah, I believe so.
These things always snag me, Valdez.
Oh, that was for all matchups, and this is against only Protoss.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So Season 2 seems like both players here in matches have gone 100%.
Yeah.
Of course, that makes sense because
Well,
they made it to this this place,
I guess if you drop maybe a set during those group stages, it would be a little bit lower, but they flew through in first place. So, yeah, it makes sense. They're both 100% there. And we get to the pie charts. Favorite part.
Love these pie charts. We're going to have a lot of CGs here, guys, as is the way of Star League, especially once you get to the higher places here. We just got to look at stats there. Good percentages across the board. And, or rather, that was Classic. Here's Stats.
Yep.
And Stats is actually undefeated against Zerg. Very strong in that matchup, but very strong in every matchup here.
Look at that PvP record. 14-5. That's so impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. Up there at around 75%. Looking very, very dominant coming into this one.
Yeah.
And Moonblade, one thing we have failed to mention so far is that we both have pins for both of the players here, actually.
Yeah, Protoss nipple pins right
very small for you guys on stream, but we got them.
Yeah, yours are kind of weirdly placed. You have, like, weird nipples,
I've got some weird nipples,
yeah,
Moonblade. We're not going to show the stream. Not today.
It's, like, close
maybe in
together
the future.
and, like, different levels as well.
Yeah.
Like, man,
definitely not lining up here.
I'm so sorry, man. It must be rough. But you know what you could do? You can get them like pierced and a little chain in between them and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Because they're very close.
Yeah, you wouldn't need much.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I know you guys can't really see them, but this is a coffee cup. It's got Tassadar on it. I think this represents Classic because they called him like Tassado, which is the end of his name. So I guess because of his chin, Tassadar's got a pretty big chin as well.
Right, yeah.
And
he does, doesn't he?
The other one is Waldo, actually. Where's Waldo? And he kind of looks like Stats. He's got the same glasses even. Because
very slim figure.
I think for a while, Stats was kind of like under the radar, kind of flying under the radar. He was a great player for so long, but very underrated.
Yeah, he's always been so good, but he's always just been like in the back.
Yeah.
He's not really this guy that everyone talks about. He's like, even though he's just winning all the time, it's kind of interesting. So it does make a little sense where where's Waldo.
And on KT, they called him like kind of the weirdest guy on the team, which is a weird thing to call someone on your team kind of hurtful.
I can see it.
But
I could see it as well.
Yeah, we don't really get a bunch of insight to their team house, but that does say a lot. And
he's a very quiet, tall guy. Like,
yeah.
Looks like he might be a bit strange.
He's a bit quirky, I feel.
Quirky.
He recently came on that that show, I think the Legacy of the Void one that they're doing with the Korean casters.
Oh, yeah.
And he was pretty funny on that one.
Yeah.
Watched a little bit of that,
Well, there you go. How about that?
Wade.
Well, we should be able to get these started pretty soon. It's gonna be. I really want to jump into the map list and see actually how this is gonna go down, because it'll say a lot of. I mean, it is a mirror match, but it can still have an effect. Especially, it shows like the preference of what these players want to play as, like a bigger map, or which probably means more of a macro game. If it's a smaller map, it's going to be more of like aggression, proxies, and all that.
Two-player map especially. You know where your opponent is from the get-go. You're going to have those proxies, as you mentioned, maybe like even a proxy gate.
Yeah, I mean, like thinking of someone like Potting, he'd probably want a much smaller map. God rest his soul, man. Yesterday was a horrible day for him. Let's never ever watch those games again.
Let's just try to forget that and never mention that again, because all Protoss players suffered a big blow.
Everyone suffered a blow in the Starcraft community, man. That was a bad one. But, you know, he's not in this. He's not in Star League. He didn't make it this far.
Yeah.
We've got
knocked out by Hero, I think, actually.
Right.
I believe so. We were talking about that a little bit last week when Hero was playing up against Dream.
Yeah.
I think he did knock out Parting
He did.
in the round of 16 group, if I'm not
believe
mistaken. So. In the background, of course, you guys, there are events here at the studio. If you come a multitude of times, you come here, I think it's like 10 or 20 times, you can get a mouse pad or even a headset. So.
Yeah, and look at that down the bottom. You also get a chance of winning these pins if you guys turn up. So if you're in the area, you might want to run down here now.
Oh, it's actually to everybody who comes down. If you want to get these pins, and also a $5 gift certificate to SBENU, I believe, you can get them if you come down to the studio.
Sweet. Might as well come down then if you're in the area. If you're not, then you miss out on these really cool pins. You know, I'm so happy they did this time as well. It was just that bit of memorabilia that you can bring home.
Yeah,
like,
I love it, man.
Like, we get to take them home, and like we have like all the semifinal pins, and
it's awesome. I actually like it a lot better than the ring, you know, and even
way
the hand.
better.
It's cool. It's a nice idea, but I like the pins better.
Yeah, that means you can wear it like a lot of GSL winners do. Like in the booth, they put it on their shirt like a pin of honor.
Yeah.
You can't play with that ring on. It's just it's gonna mess everything up. So
where are you gonna put that ring anyway, on your head?
You tie it around your neck or something.
That's a good way, actually.
Yeah, but then like if you win more than one, then you got this thing on your neck that's gonna weigh you down.
You get like a gauge and put it through your ear. Actually, maybe not. You'd have to open up the ring.
They're pretty thick rings, Valdez. That could like.
Well, there are some pretty big gauges, man.
Yeah, but they like stretch your neck or something. I don't know. It's too heavy.
Yep. Of course, SBENU shoes. I think it's.
I have the one with the tag on it, the black ones.
Nice. The ones in the background there.
The middle ones. Yeah.
Okay.
I got those guns, guys.
Those are nice. I like the black.
Yeah, they're cool. All the AOA chicks wear them in the ads, so I wanted to be just like them when I bought them.
Oh, and look at this. This guy actually did get the headset, the Razor Banshee, for coming here 20 times.
Wow.
This guy's a true fan.
He's a trooper, man. Look at that. He's wearing his mask so he doesn't get MERS.
Both these guys wearing masks.
Yep.
MERS getting worse and worse over here. We're not going to get sick, guys, hopefully. We'll be here. But MERS is definitely a problem. But besides that, it looks like we're going to jump into introducing our two players.
I
for the
love
round
this
4.
trophy. Man, this is one of the best trophies, by the way. And oh, he's wearing his own pin. It'd be kind of weird if he was wearing Stats pin right now.
That would be strange.
That would be weird.
Unless he won and then he like took it off and stamped on it on the ground, then I'd be like, okay,
or something.
All right.
He, like just swallows the pin. I'm like, no, don't do that. Well, here we have a look at this road to glory. Defeated Bial 3-0 in the round of 8. Defeated Hyun 2-0 in the round of 16.
Yeah, he actually went to the final match in his group. Defeated Sulky at first, but then lost to Dream in the winner's match. No surprise there.
Yeah.
0-2, and then he had to face Hyun in the final match, and he made it along with Dream out of that Group B.
His progress was a lot to do with defeating Zerg, except for that creator win in the challenge match.
Yeah.
Like his road has been a ruthless one against the Zerg. He's been really showing some powerful PvZ play, but that's not going to help him at all today. Not one bit. And we're going to get a look at Stats' road to the semifinals in just a second. And it is paved with the corpses of PvP. And there he is there.
He's got his own pin on. He's Waldo of KT. And he's defeated only Protoss to get through. Of course, he was a semifinalist last season, so he got seeded into the round of 16 for this one. And he defeated Deer 2-0, defeated Hero 2-1, and then his teammate Zest in the round of 8 in the 3-1 series, and it was quite one-sided.
It was very one-sided. That's a clean road right there. You know, you dropped a couple of like individual games, but man, he destroyed everyone.
Yep. What matters is the set wins. Do you get through all the way? And now on to more CGs here.
Oh, I love this part.
And this is going up against Protoss players, so let me try to do this once again. The first one is Deer, and then it's Yonwa, and then it's Stats. Actually lost a set there to Stats. I think it was 2-0, actually. And then we got Creator, Yonwa again. And I don't know that one. And then we get Stats once again, and then he lost to Parting, beat Harston, and then lost to Rain.
All right.
So there we go.
Lost to Rain, actually. That's impressive. I wonder where he played Rain in. Was that GSL?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm really not sure, actually.
Where did he play Harston as well? It sounds like it might be online as well.
Maybe it was like a double elimination, lost to Parting, and then Harston he beat, and then lost to Rain and got knocked out. Here's Stats and his win record against Protoss.
All right.
So first is Zest, and then you get Hero, Deer, Classic, Yonwa, lost to Classic once. That's his one loss. Then it's, I'm not sure who that is actually. After that loss there, you guys in the chat can help me out if you can understand Korean here. Then it's Hero once again, Classic, and Zest, I would suppose it would be, right? Because he just beat Zest, but that's not his name.
Interesting.
I guess it's Hero once again.
Either way, I mean, we can look at this and see he wins most of his games. Like, he's won 9 out of 10 of the last games against Protoss. That is insane. And here's the important list. We are going to be looking at the maps. Expedition Lost is going to be the first one, then Deadwing, King Sejong, Cactus Valley, Merry-Go-Round, Overgrowth, and Barney Research to finish things off.
Nice little mix, you know? 2-player map into Deadwing, a 3-player map, then you get King Sejong Station, 2-player. Cactus Valley, a very big map, 4-player, the biggest one we got in the pool. Then we go to Merry-Go-Round, 3-player, Overgrowth, 2-player, and then Barney Research, a very long 2-player map.
Yeah, well, you know, as you look, the person who chose the map first went and chose King Sejong, then Merry-Go-Round. So more of an aggressive sort of style of map he's been choosing, you know, 1, 3, and 5. Then you got the other player, Deadwing, Cactus Valley, Overgrowth. The more of the bigger sort of maps that are a little bit safer. Overgrowth, you know, can still be pretty aggressive on, but it is much more easier to defend on that kind of map as well.
Stats in the chat right now to Classic is telling him to give up already. Go home. You can win the next one. Stats looking extremely confident. Classic looking a bit ticked off, actually.
Yeah, the Chintoff's not looking too happy with all this smack talk, man. Yeah. Already getting under his skin. Game 1 hasn't even begun yet.
It's pretty crazy, man. Let's jump into Game 1 right now, though. It's going to be Expedition Lost for a PvP. Let's begin the night right now. Up here in the top right in the blue for SK Telecom T1, one of our Protoss players playing tonight, it is Classic.
Down here in the bottom left, do have the player Stats.
There he is.
There he is, fixing his glasses.
Looking very much like Waldo, actually. I think it's the glasses that do it.
Yeah, you think? I think so too. He is pretty tall as well, so
yeah,
it makes a lot of sense why they chose that as his spirit animal.
Seems like the Korean casters are also talking about this.
Hey man, start of the game. It's time to stretch things out.
Yeah, it's time to talk about what we ate for breakfast today.
What did you have, Valdez?
I had some tuna with kimchi and rice.
Wow.
Chamchi kimchi bokkeumbap.
Chamchi kimchi
Did it.
bokkeumbap. Look at you.
What do you have,
I had a can of baked beans, man. What can I say?
Yeah. That's why it's beginning to smell a little bit over here at the casting desk.
I'm a simple boy, and I like my cans because I open them and eat them.
Is that why, Moongley? Because you open them and eat them?
It's an easy life.
Is that the answer?
It's an easy life, Valdez. What can I say?
I like doing that with tuna, actually. Just straight up tuna out of the can.
Oh, you know what I do? Actually, I open the tuna can, then I'll squirt in some mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah, you do that.
I do that.
That is kind of weird, man. I don't know
You never
what to say
tried
about
it,
that.
man? It's
no, I haven't.
delicious.
That is.
You're making mistakes, fellas.
We'll try it soon, Moonglade. I'll try it soon, at least.
Yeah.
Stats here going for a very quick gate. Looked like it was on 11. Classic is going to get the scout on the pylon here. But
he's got all the pylons, but it's, you know, it's still a bit early before he can really find anything. Yeah. Keeping that probe around there will give him an opportunity, see if anything fishy's coming out. But you know, chronoed out Stalker at the moment.
Yeah, if he's paying attention, which I'm sure he is, he noticed that the cybernetics score is slightly faster for stats. So he may be saying, "Oh, maybe quicker tech here." But also, if he's paying attention, I think he noticed that that second gas came a little bit later.
Yeah, and that that probe, Stats' probe actually scouted that second gate as well. So he knows what's up going on over there. It's going to be most likely a faster expand from earlier Stalkers, kind of take map control, make sure nothing's happening, and secure it pretty easily. Not a bad choice in this map. Though this map is also pretty tricky because of that backdoor ice that you can break down and can cause a lot of havoc early on. Bit harder against Protoss though, because they can force field it.
For sure. I'm just curious what kind of build Stats is going to go for exactly. We already have the Twilight Council down much farther ahead of Classic.
Oh, Classic coming on in there. He's going to see it.
Oh, what?
Oh, nah.
That's a big mistake from Stats, actually, letting that probe just walk on by.
Yeah.
That's an imposter probe, man.
And there's the DT Shrine coming down after he faked the blink, going straight into DT Shrine.
Wow. And on the opposite side of things, Classic, he goes for the Twilight Council. Let's hope he makes some kind of safe transition into maybe a robotics facility. And there we go, he does.
All right, so he's just playing super safe regarding this. So Classic getting a bit of the build advantage going into the early game here.
Yeah, for sure.
Not choosing to go for a fast expand at all just yet either. Just keeping it on the level.
Yeah, just like you said, just very, very safe. Get out a lot of Stalkers early, you get your blink, you get your detection, and then a little bit later you get that expand.
He's chrono boosting out that blink as well, so he's going to have everything in place, and he can actually counterattack, maybe do something. Do some pretty decent aggression, because it looks like behind the DT Stats, it's simply going to be going for that Nexus. Can be pretty exposed. It is a greedy opening. Classic may have made the right choice.
Yeah. He's even hold positioning his Stalkers on the ramp, just in case. With that scout, it just makes you so much more secure and like calm in the booth too. You're like, oh, okay, I know exactly what tech he's going for, or at least what his options are. You know, he's saying, oh, okay, you went for a very fast Twilight Council after that faster cybernetics score. All right, I'll just, you know, go up against either Blink or DTs. And here we go.
Here we go. He's going to be running up the ramp here. He's going to see the block. He's going to try and force his way in, but there's already an observer here. And I don't think any DT is going to get away from this. Their Stalkers should be able to catch it. No, I'm going to let it go for now.
Yeah, I think the Observer just a little bit too slow.
Yeah.
But still, trading a DT for a Stalker. And Classic is going to be able to get his Nexus up right after that. He's got more Stalkers out here. He's got the robotics tech much faster. And I'm liking the position, actually, of Classic here.
Yeah, I like where he's at so far. He didn't take any damage from the DTs, but Stats' expansion is way further ahead. You know, it's nearly finished at this point. And Classic only just started it, so we might actually see some aggression from Classic to kind of try and counteract this. Maybe try and do some trading early on, some harassment.
Yeah, maybe.
Always afraid of those DTs, though, so maybe he'll want to stay at home.
That's a good thing with this build that Stats went for, actually. It just opens up that faster expansion, so
yeah,
there you go.
Gives you that map control as well.
Yeah, for sure. With the robotics tech, he is going to get out an Immortal slightly faster than Stats. Very negligible here, actually going to come out around the same time. So all in all, we're just going to transition out of that very early game, the crazy kind of volatile early PvP, and transition into a bit of a later one.
Yeah, it's going to go into that that pretty safe mid game, I guess. No one's really going to make a move until they've got their Colossus out, essentially, and starting to get their third base. And, you know, we could even see it going to Tempest. It really gets to this stalemate point pretty easily in a mirror matchup, especially PvP.
Going to see the players. They both got out a decently early sentry here. We're going to begin to see the hallucination scouts coming across the map. And Stats just playing defensive after that. I think he knows he's got that expand a little bit ahead of Classic. And he's just going to sit back and defend and try not to lose probes. Unfortunately, it looks like Classic is going to get 2 and then just blink away.
Gets 2 probes, but he lost his observer during that. He's scouting the army. Stats picked it off, and that's a pretty big blow this early on.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, one of the big things about PvP, you want that robotics to be consistently making pretty much only Immortals and Colossi if you can help it. So you don't want to lose those observers early on.
Yeah. Just going to simply deal with the Rock Tower to kind of delay the path to Classic's base. A little bit of harassment there. Well,
yeah. Interesting he stops it, though. Maybe he's going to open that, kind of like bait the army up and try to cut it in half, possibly.
Yeah, I guess it's always that threat there, right?
It's a pretty cool idea, nonetheless.
Maybe he can kill a unit or something. But maybe when Stats sees it, he'll deal with it. He'll just be like, okay, I'll trigger it now and blow it open with Immortals.
Yeah, I think that'd be smart.
Yeah, looks like they might be fishing for a 3rd base soon as well. So I don't really see any aggression happening anytime soon.
I mean, that's the big thing about PvP and other mirror matchups. It's very hard to attack into your opponent. They're going to have the better concave, and with the Mothership Core, you can get that Nexus Cannon down and just have a better position overall. He may have like an extra Colossus out by the time you get your army all the way across the map, especially on some bigger ones. So usually in the mid game, you see both players trying to just be greedy, take those expands, get the upgrades out as fast as possible, stuff like that.
Looks like Stat's going to be the first one to go for that 3rd base as well. He does have a bit of a lead now in terms of supply. And very comfortably taken. From here, you know, they're just going to continue their Colossus production, get everything up and running, and go for that 3rd base.
I actually like the Rocks play here from Classic, because if Stats did want to go aggressive off a 2 base while Classic maybe wanted to take a little bit more greedy with this 3rd base, he could just delay those Rocks and go back to his other Rocks and knock those down too, and buy himself a good like 30 seconds, maybe even a minute or so.
Yeah, it does cause a lot of disruption, that's for sure. I do like that. So, you know, with a couple of Immortals, it's going to go down pretty quickly anyway.
Sure.
But always a little bit of delay is going to help out a lot. It's kind of rare that we'd see that kind of aggression on this map anyway, I guess. It's just such a hard map to attack into.
So it looks like Stats on the army side of things is slightly ahead just because he has 2 extra Immortals. Those Immortals very bulky in that army. They do a lot of damage to the armored units of the opposing Protoss player. And he's also got 8 extra probes, which are going to be very good to saturate that 3rd base up a bit faster than Classic will be able to. The one thing that Classic has going for himself is that earlier +2 and the earlier charge.
Yeah, that could come into play a lot, especially the charge. That could really complicate things if he gets a good position.
You know, he may even line it up here. He's already got a decent number of Zealots, 9 out already.
It looks like he's going to be adding Archons next as well. A couple of Templars being warped in. So he's getting a pretty formidable army. Stats has to be very careful where he positions himself and how he wants to fight this. Cannot let that Mothership get feedback either, or it could really complicate things in trying to escape.
Yeah. So the charge finishes up here for Classic, and he's beginning to move out on the map, actually. He's got 3 Colossi to the 4 of Stats. He's got 1 extra Archon, and it looks like a bit more Zealots coming into this, as well as that +2 upgrade finished at the same time.
I didn't like this. I didn't like where Stats is right now. He's got to be so careful. Already Classic moving down this ramp. Very dangerous position.
Yeah. Stats nearly got himself choked off there. If Classic was able to snipe out a Colossus before the fight even started, that would have been huge.
I think one reason Classic may have wanted to turn around as well as he forgot his Mothership Core. Like
he
got
a big deal, man.
Now. He's like, oh, I need that if I want to fight. If I lose that fight, I got to recall out. If I can't recall out, I lose the game. So he's reunited it with his army now. Now it's Stats' turn to move across the map.
Can you check if Classic has got some cannons in his main base?
Yeah, he's got 1 in his main base for now.
Okay. Because we have a drop coming towards the base of Classic right now on the right side of the map. It's got perfect. 1 DT in it. Not sure if he warped in anymore.
He's got 1 DT, 3 Zealots in that one, so
Maybe just focus down the cannon. You could do a ton of damage. Because the army of Classic is totally out of position to defend this.
Yeah, he's being pretty distracted by the army on the left side. Stats could even get a decent concave at the top of this ramp in the third. Classic's moving off and up now, though. He's going to buy his time, let the drop do some damage, and force the units to get out of position.
Yeah. I have to say, great response out of Classic, though, to defend that drop. Immediately, a Colossus comes out, and he warps in 4 or 5 Zealots. Uh-oh! Free Colossus already here.
Horrible start to this fight. So that is so many Archons helping out, tanking for the rest of them. And they're essentially even in Colossi count, but there is a
look at this. The warp in from the right side. A bunch of charged Zealots coming in right behind the army of Classic. And there you go. Stats just rolls over the army of Classic. And it looks like in the meantime, Stats is taking a lot of damage in his main base, but it doesn't really matter. He's taking out the entire army of Classic outside of those 4 Colossi.
Yeah, the Colossus might be a problem there if we see some decent warp ins. I think Stats has to get the damage done at the third base and get out. Unless he finds a really good position and some decent warp ins. He's got rid of the third now, so he doesn't have to commit too hard to any fight. Got that base advantage. As long as he deals with everything in his main base.
There's another warp in coming in, actually, towards the natural. At the same time, Classic losing a bunch of probes somewhere.
Well, looks like Stat's going to stay true to the fight and keep going on. Maybe try and end the game in the natural here. Well, loosely defending against this drop. I think it looks like it's essentially being cleaned up at this point.
And look at this. Classic has no observer. It's been sniped out. And look at this. DT comes in. What are you going to do? You have to either retreat back to your one cannon. Oh, and look at this at the same time. 2 Colossi were blocked off in the main base. And he's still got no detection for that DT getting the work on the army.
Yeah, this is a kind of a hopeless situation at this point. The natural has been sacked. And this is so bad. Like, you cannot fight this kind of place and expect to win a good fight.
No, you can't. Looks like that's going to be it. All the Colossi going down here for Classic. And GG, Stats will take game number 1.
Pretty easily at the end of all things. Even though Classic had a pretty decent, build order advantage after he got a decent scout off, he just couldn't really find it because Stats got an early expand after that. And from there, he just maneuvered around enough to get a decent position in the fight and pretty much closed it out.
As we say time and again in PvP, it oftentimes does come down to one big fight, and the positioning there from Classic was just not ideal. It looked like he just got totally caught out, not really expecting the fight. One of his Colossi got sniped, and the rest of his army was totally bunched up. That allows you to just put 2 time warps on him, get the entire army slowed, and then get your Warp Prism in position behind them to just warp in a bunch of Zealots. Stats just handled that team fight, or rather just the fight there, so much better.
The warp in, that Warp Prism just did way too much, man. Like, I can't believe he got that kind of warp in off next to the army. There was not enough anti-air there to shoot it down. So, 8 Zealots get warped in next to Colossus, and